the egg on the Prime Minister's face, and there's enough of it to feed an army, was laid by an absolute turkey called the Voice to Parliament. News poll today reveals the extent of the damage. A mere 36% of Australians intend to vote yes, and 57% will vote no. Paradoxically, this has coincided with a drop in the popularity of the opposition leader, Peter Dutton. I'd argue that that would not be the case if Jacinta Nampijinpa Price was leading the coalition, but that's a story for another day. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's popularity has had a slight uptick as well, which is as difficult for me to explain as it will be for him to sustain. The reason is this. The Voice to Parliament is a low priority for most of us. But because our elections involve compulsory voting, we have been forced to form an opinion about it. A lot of Australians are thinking, why should I bother? Haven't I got enough stuff to worry about already? But it gets worse. Once you have formed an opinion of it, no matter how reluctantly or lazily, you are then thrust into one camp or the other, and the relationship between these two camps is becoming more and more toxic. This didn't need to happen. The heat of this debate could have been significantly reduced if Anthony Albanese had held a convention on the topic so that both sides could thrash out the details and arrive at a wording for the referendum that the most possible number of people could endorse. That would have been the friendly Aussie way to do it. But Albo didn't. Instead, he simply imposed the thing on us, holus bolus, urging us to trust the people who devised it, even while his Minister for Indigenous Affairs refuses to debate her opposition counterpart. Trust that? You'd have to be joking. So now the whole thing is just getting more and more toxic. For an example of just how toxic, take former footballer and provocateur Sam Newman. Newman said last week that footy fans should boo the welcome to country ceremonies at the footy matches on the weekend. When this attracted the usual opprobrium, he came up with an even better idea. Talking to Avi Yamini and Rukshan Fernando of Rebel Media on their podcast, he said instead of booing, people should belt out the sentimental but patriotic song, I Am Australian. You'll notice from this headline that this was not treated by the media as a reasonable compromise. Instead, it was simply Newman doubling down on his original provocative proposal. But Newman's suggestion was a good one. Welcome to country is a divisive gesture because it assumes one group of Australians has a greater claim over this continent than the rest of us. But I Am Australian says we are all equally Australian, no matter how long we've lived here. It wasn't long ago that the left thought this was a wonderful idea, but not anymore. Now we are at the point where not even something as saccharine as I Am Australian can bring us back together. Nice work, Albo. You've created almost irreconcilable divisions in this country. And for what? A referendum that will now fail? If you cared more for the country than you do about retaining power, you'd call the whole damn thing off right now. And one last thing about The Voice. Most people instinctively know it won't work because of its name. It's a voice. It doesn't have a pair of ears. It is a proposal to appoint a panel of experts who, in isolation, will come up with solutions for Indigenous problems. These are the descendants of the people who lived here for tens of thousands of years and didn't build a single home, didn't work out how to breed livestock, and never devised a written language. These experts are the self-appointed caretakers of that culture and think they can devise solutions to the problems of life in a modern society like Australia? Yeah, good luck with that.